Now at 5, a send-off for area National Guard members as they prepare to deploy overseas. Plus, the potential health benefits of giving up alcohol for a month. And
for the second day in a row, uncertainty over who will be the next Speaker of the House. I'm Nicole D'Antonio on Capitol Hill with the ongoing challenges for Republican leader Kevin McCarthy.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Family, friends, and supporters gather at Carthage High School as some area National Guard members prepare to head overseas. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. The 294th Engineer Company will deploy to the Horn of Africa. Their mission will be to conduct construction projects. The National Guard could not comment on specifics about the deployment, but did say they'll be there through the fall and winter of 2023.
I've every bit of confidence in my command team and my platoon sergeants, my team leaders, everyone. And I know that this is a really big moment for a lot of people, and I'm proud to go and represent the Missouri National Guard and the United States Army over in Africa.
One tradition: the oldest soldier in the unit will be in charge of carrying the American flag throughout the deployment and returning it safely. And the youngest soldier will do the same with the Missouri state flag. Let's check in with meteorologist Sam Lane for a first look at the weather.
Thank you very much, Dow. It's been a beautiful day across the area with lots of sunshine. A little bit on the cool side, but that's typical for this time of year. Radar is all clear right now. This is actually ground clutter over there towards our west. We're looking at 36 hours of temperatures generally in the 50s yesterday, dropping down into the 30s this morning, and today we've only recovered into the 40s, and it looks like that pattern is going to be keeping going for the next few days. Temperatures are going to be dropping down through the 40s tonight, all the way down to about 29 degrees by tomorrow morning. And if we take a look down the lane, we're going to see some chilly mornings across our area, maybe some Saturday showers, but then we're going to go into a dry pattern with maybe a little bit of an elevated mix in our extended forecast, and we'll have more details on that coming up in just a little bit.
In Washington, the historic political battle over choosing a House Speaker is now in its second day. Republicans failed for a fourth, fifth, and sixth time to hand the gavel to Kevin McCarthy and then adjourn until 8 p.m. Eastern, 7-hour time. The impasse marks the first time in 100 years that the House wasn't able to pick a speaker in the first round. Nicole D'Antonio has the latest from Capitol Hill.
A speaker has not been elected.
The rebellion continued on the House floor, with far-right Republicans refusing again to rally around Kevin McCarthy for House Speaker, nominating Florida's Byron Donalds instead.
This country needs a change. This country needs leadership that does not reflect this city.
Wednesday afternoon, McCarthy still couldn't reach the necessary 218 votes, with a group of conservative lawmakers holding out against business as usual.
We're going to continue to talk, and we'll find an agreement where we all get together and we'll work through this and we'll get it done.
Former President Donald Trump urged Republicans to vote for McCarthy, posting, "Kevin McCarthy will do a good job and maybe even a great job." The stalemate here brings all other work to a standstill. The House needs a speaker in order to swear in members and begin legislative business. President Biden said the congressional skirmish is not a good look.
I just think it's a little embarrassing it's taking so long in the way they're dealing with one another. And the rest of the world's looking.
Democrats were united in nominating their party leader, New York's Hakeem Jeffries, and quick to point out the contrast with their feuding colleagues.
What we saw was the true character of the modern-day Republican Party, obsessed with power and their own personal advancement.
This is very sad for our country, and hopefully it will be resolved today.
Friday marks 2 years since the January 6th insurrection at the Capitol, a day that showed the deadly consequences of the nation's divisions. Nicole D'Antonio, CBS News, Washington.
The faithful flocking to Vatican City had one last opportunity today to pay respects to the late Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI, who died last week at the age of 95. Tens of thousands of mourners have been paying tribute to Benedict beneath St. Peter's Basilica. Just a few hundred yards away, the crowd at Pope Francis's general audience cheered, "Long live the Pope." This tale of two popes will make history again tomorrow when Francis becomes the first pontiff in modern history to preside over the funeral of his predecessor. A spokesman for Damar Hamlin's family offered encouraging news about the condition of the Buffalo Bills safety who suffered cardiac arrest during Monday night's game against the Cincinnati Bengals. He says doctors tell them Hamlin is going in the right direction. And at a briefing today, the Bengals head coach Zach Taylor praised the medical personnel and first responders who rushed onto the field to help Hamlin. Still ahead, home versus the office.
Many employers say they want their employees back in the office. I'm Cristian Benavides with the workers who say they're never going back.
But first, the benefits of skipping alcohol. That's next in Health Watch. Topping today's Health Watch, the COVID-19 vaccine is safe for children and teens with a history of a rare and potentially deadly immune condition. That's according to new research published in JAMA and funded by the National Institutes of Health. Researchers looked at patients who had multisystem inflammatory syndrome, then got the vaccine. They found no serious complications, with about half the participants reporting mild reactions such as arm soreness and fatigue. Longer parental leave protects against poor mental health, according to researchers at Stockholm University. In a new review of 45 studies, they found generous parental leave protected mothers against depressive symptoms, psychological stress, and burnout. For fathers, parental leave policies that offer adequate wage replacement appear to be beneficial. A study of young teens and preteens who habitually check social media showed that this behavior might be associated with changes in brain development. Researchers looked at participants' brain scans during a 3-year period, and they found those who check social media more often appear to become more sensitive to potential social feedback over time. However, more research is needed to examine the long-term effects. After the holidays, a lot of Americans are considering cutting back on alcohol as part of Dry January. Michael George looks at the health benefits and the best ways to succeed.
Mahina Douglas loves to socialize, but lately she's been thinking about cutting back on alcohol.
I just felt like my drinking was getting, a little more than I was comfortable with it being.
She decided to try Dry January, a month-long sobriety challenge. She even hired a sober coach, Molly Desch.
Dry January actually has a ton of benefits. Aside from the health benefits, you'll have cleaner skin, you'll sleep better. You'll also save money.
Consumer insight group Valink says more than half of Americans say they want to reduce their alcohol intake. A study published in the British Medical Journal shows people who gave up alcohol for 1 month had significant improvements in their health and lost an average of 4 pounds. Desch says introducing a new hobby like exercise can help replace drinking.
And also have an accountability partner. So if you know somebody that also wants to participate in Dry January, boom, sign them up. You guys can text each other throughout the day if you're having a hard time. You can celebrate milestones.
Research also shows people who participate in Dry January often continue to drink less 6 to 8 months later. Is the hope that the benefits of this will continue beyond January?
Yes, very much so. I'm looking for a lifestyle change that I can keep with me forever.
Douglas says since she stopped drinking, she's already noticed she's sleeping much better. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Sobriety coaches also say telling friends and family you're trying Dry January can help incentivize you to stay committed through the whole month. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, our pet vet on call.
Hi, I'm Dr. Eva Dudek from Parsons Pet Hospital. Coming up, we're going to talk about toxic houseplants.
And we're going to be talking about some cooler weather as well as a chance of showers on Saturday. We'll have the forecast when we return. Well, we had a pretty nice day across the 4 states with lots of sunshine, a little bit on the cool side, but that's to be expected in early January. We're going to see temperatures dropping down into the 20s and 30s again tonight. But first, let's enjoy the nice night down in Indigo Sky Casino and Resort in Seneca, Missouri. Mostly fair skies, just a few clouds on the horizon, some altocumulus and altostratus, and that is about it across our area. This afternoon, we made it up to 48 degrees after starting out at freezing. We were actually a little bit above normals of 44 and 25 for the low. Records were 69 back in 97 and -7 back in 1959. Here's a big look at the picture of the satellite view showing this big spiraling storm across the northern plains. That is slowly moving off towards the north and east, producing quite a bit of severe weather in the southeast yesterday. And of course, that is now moving away from us as well. And then we're going to be watching this big storm system off the west coast. Look at the size of this thing. Just a monster of a storm that's going to be moving into the west coast, especially California, with lots of heavy rain, wind, mudslides, the whole gamut of problems for those folks. But here, we're going to be seeing some nice temperatures. In fact, they're pretty nice right now, generally in the mid 40s to upper 40s down in Oklahoma, with 49 in Veneta, Grove, and Jay at 48. And so pick out your hometown. Then as we head through, looking over the last 24 hours, we're generally right about where we were last night. A little bit warmer off towards the west and a little bit cooler off towards the east. But this warmer weather is going to start to move into our entire area as we head over the next few days. Dew points are still low. They're generally in the 20s, so that's allowing the temperature to really drop at night. Right now we're at 46 with a west wind at 9, so it feels like 41 out there. The dew point is 24, and the pressure is currently falling right now. Here's a look at the forecast for tonight. Clouds will start to dissipate and move away, allowing temperatures to drop down into the upper 20s to around 30 degrees with those light westerly winds. Then tomorrow we're going to see, again, mostly sunny skies with temperatures rising into the mid to upper 40s. Maybe some 50s down in Oklahoma. Look at all the 50s down there. A little bit cooler, of course, up towards the north. Then as we go into tomorrow night, there is going to be a warm front moving up from the south. It's not really going to be all that much warmer, but you'll see lows generally in the 30s again down to the south and 20s up towards the north. But we'll see increasing clouds and also moisture. Then as we go through the day on Friday, we'll see that boundary still in the area with highs in the mid 50s across our area, lower 50s up towards the north. Then as we go into Friday night and Saturday morning, that's when we'll start to see a chance of showers developing, especially to the north and northeast of the metro area as this system kind of moves through our area. It's a weak system, and it's very starved for moisture. So we're not really expecting a whole lot of rain from this. In fact, here's a look at the rain tracker. Just barely enough to wet the ground, and that's about it. We're not really expecting a big rain system like we had just a few days ago. The cool air is going to be with us tonight and again tomorrow, but then milder air will start to move in as we go into a zonal pattern as we head through the weekend and in the early part of next week, with the mild conditions continuing with all the nasty cold air staying well up to the north in Canada. Here's over the next 7 days our forecast. 46 tomorrow, 55 on Friday, 51 on Saturday with those morning showers, and then more seasonable temperatures as we start the early part of next week, Dow. So not a bad forecast for early January, I don't think.
No, we'll certainly take that.
We'll take
it. It could be. Thanks, Sam. That storm slamming California today that Sam mentioned, forecasters say this is going to be the second of 3 major storms to hit the area within a week, and is likely to be worse than the first that brought down trees. Could bring 3 to 4 more inches of rain, up to 3 feet of snow in the mountains. Dangerous flooding and mudslides are expected. Coming up, how a lot of U.S. workers feel about returning to the office. First, though, we honor a local veteran. Warren Ailes served in the U.S. Army from 1951 to 53. Pineville, Missouri native was stationed in South Korea, and we are proud to thank Corporal Warren Ailes, tonight's 4-state hero. Topping today's Consumer Watch, Kansas City Southern hopes to welcome you aboard. The rail company today hosted a hiring fair in Pittsburgh looking for conductors to be part of a train crew. They say it takes the right sort of person.
Big group of people. It's a revolving transportation industry, so we're looking for people that are open-minded, strong-willed, quick on their feet. These conductors that we hire are out on the road 24/7, and they encounter different issues along the way. So a person that's just handy on their feet is...
They say pay for that position averages around $65,000. Millions of Americans started to work from home during the pandemic. Now many employers want workers back in the office, but managers are being met with some pushback. Christian Benavides reports.
For a few months during the pandemic, Celine Da Silva worked from home, but her employer eventually brought her back to the office, and she went back to her daily hour-long commute until one day she had enough.
How did you tell them, I'm not coming back?
I started by telling them I wanted to be independent.
For Da Silva, that meant working remotely.
They couldn't offer me that.
She's part of a growing number of workers who would rather resign than return to the office. In a new survey by Fiverr, an online marketplace for freelancers, 42% of workers said they'd consider quitting if forced to be back in the office full-time. That's at odds with what the survey shows companies want. Nearly 70% of large company executives and managers want their employees in the office 5 days a week.
Basically, managers want things to go back to 2019.
Micha Kaufman is Fiverr's CEO.
About a third of the managers want employees to return in order to monitor them. Then about a quarter of those managers want employees to return to ensure that they take shorter breaks.
De Silva now does freelance jobs from home. She's making more money, but working more.
For some people, you leave work at the office, but if your office is at home, what does that mean for you?
Well, I never stop working.
So even if you have to work more, the flexibility is worth it.
Yeah, totally.
De Silva says the perks of making her own hours and avoiding a commute will keep her from returning to a job in the office. Cristian Benavides, CBS News, Hallandale Beach, Florida.
Survey also found that 1 in 5 workers say there is absolutely no incentive that would make them want to return to the office. Our Pet Vet on Call next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, American and European technology inside the drones that Russia is using to target civilians in Ukraine. Then on KOAM News at 6, a high-speed chase in Newton County, Missouri, where the suspect runs into Shoal Creek. Plus, reaction to last night's execution of a murderer in Missouri. And the Joplin Eagles prepare to defend their title in the Kaminsky Classic. Stay with us, CBS Evening News and KOAM News at 6. Apparently you can teach an old dog new tricks. Chase and Tails is a new dog training business in Iola, Kansas. Chase Martin is using experience working with dogs in the military to help dog owners train their pups.
I wanted to offer a service around this area for dog owners. That seemed to be something that was definitely lacking, and definitely lacking on the scale of a one-on-one connection with the handler.
You can find contact information for Chase and Tails on our website, koamnewsnow.com. Some pets will try to taste anything they can get their mouths on. Today's question for our Pet Vet on Call: what house?
Wow, surprisingly quite a few. And almost all of them cause mild GI signs like vomiting, diarrhea, stomach irritation. But there are a few that could be very, very serious, like lilies can actually cause kidney failure. Some of them are very caustic and cause ulcers on your lips, on your tongue, in their mouth. And then there's those that are severe neurotoxic plants like marijuana, not that we keep those as houseplants, but it could happen. They cause severe depression and stupor. So the good thing is that most plants don't taste real good and most dogs won't eat them. But should your dog like a plant in particular, just put it out of his way.
Hey, we invite questions from anyone. If you have a question, all you have to do is send it to petvet@koamtv.com. Dr. Eva Dudek from the Parsons Pet Hospital answers a different question or brings us a fun fact every Wednesday right here on KOAM News at 5. All right, let's check out our picks of the litter for the week. First, from the Joplin Humane Society, we're going to talk about Bruno. He's an adult male Labrador Retriever. The Humane Society says he's 1 or 2 years old, loves to snuggle, knows the command to sit, and mixes well with other dogs in the kennel. And from the Southeast Kansas Humane Society, we have this 8-year-old male terrier mix. My, what big ears you have. His name is Montana. He hears you coming. Yeah, the Humane Society says he's a sweet guy looking for a home with no cats. If you're looking for a pet, hope you at least consider your local Humane Society. They always have lots and lots of great ones to choose among. The weather looking not too bad.
Not too bad at all for early January, that's for sure, with temperatures in the upper 40s to around 50 degrees and then lows at night around freezing. Maybe some showers on Saturday morning. And then if we look at the extended, we're looking at another round of maybe some winter-like stuff as we head into Thursday morning. But the models are still arguing about that, so we'll have to look at that a little bit closer as we get closer to that event.
We'll let the models fight it out. Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next, and of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. See you then. Let's make it a great evening.